Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to Germany, and one of my favourite breweries from Germany and one of the most famous ones as well actually. So we're going to go to Bayerische Staatsbrauerei Weihenstephan, the oldest brewery in the world as they're often marketed, and we're going to have a look at a special beer today that was brewed for the 500th anniversary of the Reinheitsgebot, the Bavarian purity law. So for this one we're going to have a look at the 1516 Kellerbier, or the 1516 Kellerbier, or cellar beer I guess you would say in English. So this one should be very, very nice. It's a limited edition beer and it was rated at 90 on Rate Beer when I checked this one out, so it should be pretty damn good. And as is the case with anything from Weihenstephan, I'd be very, very surprised if you're disappointed, but really cool to try one of these limited edition beers. So as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the link to the brewery website, my other Weihenstephan reviews I've done before. There will be a few more added in the near future with a German mini-series that I filmed, and there's all the usual social media. Make sure you check that out. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and as always, to those of you watching in Germany, please do let me know some of your other German beers and breweries that you guys would like me to have a look at. I always enjoy reviewing German beer, so there's so many breweries in Germany. Just let me know the ones that you guys would like to see reviewed, and I'll see what I can do. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Weihenstephan, so as many of you will know, these guys have a very, very long history. The brewery's origins trace back to the year 725 when St. Corbinian and 12 of his companions founded a Benedictine monastery on the Narberg Hill, and thus the art of brewing was born at Weihenstephan. So the first historical reference to Weihenstephan was in the year 768, at which time there was actually a hop garden in the vicinity of the Weihenstephan monastery, and the owner of this hop garden actually had to pay a tithe of 10% to the monastery. It's just a kind of sort of tax for using the land, I guess. But in 955 the Weihenstephan monastery was plundered and destroyed by Huns, which actually laid the foundation for a tradition of the Benedictine monks having to repeatedly reconstruct their monastery. So in 1040 beer brewing officially began in Weihenstephan after Abbot Arnold obtained a license to brew and sell beer from the city of Reising, thus marking the official birth of the Weihenstephan Monastery Brewery. Between 1085 and 1463, the Weihenstephan Monastery didn't have much luck. It burnt down completely a total of 4 times. It was destroyed or depopulated by 3 plagues, various famines, and also a great earthquake as well. But following the tradition of the Huns in 955, Emperor Ludwig the Bavarian destroyed the monastery in 1336, and then this was repeated by the French and the Swedes during the 30 Years' War, and the Austrians also did it as well during the Spanish Succession. So the monks didn't actually give up. They continued to rebuild their brewery time and again, and managing to refine their brewing art as well. So it's a pretty interesting story if you want to read about it in more detail. But in 1516, Duke Wilhelm IV of Bavaria issued the Bavarian purity law, and thus only barley, hops, and yeast and water were allowed to be used in Bavarian beer, and the brewery say that this has had a major influence on their beer. There has been various laws before this and after the Bavarian purity law, but this of course is the one that has become very, very famous. But the Weihenstephan monastery was dissolved in March of 1803 during the course of secularization, and the possessions and rights of the brewery were then transferred to the Bavarian state, but the drinkers of Weihenstephan continued to drink the beer under the secular supervision of the royal holdings at Schleißheim. In 1852, the Central Agricultural School moved from Schleißheim to Weihenstephan, taking with it the Bavarian brewing students, and in 1895 the school became an academy and was elevated in 1919 to the University of Agriculture and Brewing, which was later incorporated into the Technical University of Munich in 1930. Of course, a very famous German university these days. But Weihenstephan thus developed into a centre of world brewing technology, and this was a fact that did massive favours for the reputation of the Bayerische Staatsbrauerei Weihenstephan, the Bavarian States Brewery of Weihenstephan. So in 1921 the brewery became known as Bavarian States Brewery Weihenstephan, and in 1923 it started using the Bavarian State seal as its logo, and you can still see that to this day. And of course they've got many, many different beers today. That's your kind of brief history of Weihenstephan, if you like. If you want to read more about it or more in detail, have a look at the brewery website in the description below. But just to list the other beers you can get from Weihenstephan, there's the Crystal Weissbier, which is the green label, the Hefeweissbier, which is the blue label, Hefeweissbier Dunkel, which is the dark wheat beer, Hefeweissbier Leiche, which is a light wheat beer. I still need to try that one actually. There's the Corbinian, which you'll see me review in the next few videos, the Original, which which is the Munich style Helles. That's a very good beer. They have their Pils as well, Oktoberfest Märzen, Winterfest beer, which is apparently a Saison, and they also do a Radler beer, the original, and the Hefeweiss beer in non-alcoholic varieties. So yeah, that's your brief history of the brewery and a little bit about the different beers that they do. So let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself. I'm really looking forward to trying this one. So as I've said to you, this one is a Kellerbier, and it was brewed to celebrate the 500th anniversary of the Reinheitsgebot. The official anniversary, the 500th anniversary of the Reinheitsgebot, was the 23rd of April 2016, and I'm filming this review for you just a few days later on the 28th. So this one should be a really awesome beer. I actually didn't know the exact date of this. I thought this was perhaps a year-round beer that they're doing just for the whole year, but I think it was released specifically for that date in April. But you guys will see this review, I think, in early June actually. So this one, as you can see, very nicely presented. The artwork, of course, is a little bit different from the standard Weihenstephan thing. If I bring it closer to the camera, you can see there is the Bavarian state crest on this one. Very nice. The lions, it's actually quite similar to the Scottish lion, the lion rampant actually, but you can see there is the standard Weihenstephan bottle cap. They're all different colours depending on what beer you have actually. And yeah, it actually says on the top here, Garantierte Reinheit, so it should be very nice. The 1506 Kellerbier from Weihenstephan. It comes in at 5.6%, so this one, it should be really nice. This was actually rated in the top 50 Kellerbiers in the world on Rate Beer. So, as you can see, a nice smoky kind of opening on this one, and we'll get it out and into the glass. And I have to admit, I really enjoy the Weihenstephan beers. They're one of the kind of, I do wish that we could get some, like the Corbinian and the Helles beer a little bit more common. It's always really common with Weihenstephan to find the Weiss beers, but it's a little bit more difficult to find the other things like this, and the Corbinian is a beautiful beer as well, the Bock beer. It's really nice. I really enjoy all the ones that you get from this brewery. So as you can see, this beer is poured a nice, bright, golden amber colour. This is a very, very good looking beer. There's a solid finger of a frothy white head on this one. There is a degree of transparency to it, but you can see that it is a little bit opaque. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. It looks very, very nice. So yeah, let's have a look at the aroma of this one. Yeah, it smells like a typical Kellerbier. You know, this is a style that, from what I remember, is actually native to Franconia in northern Bavaria. Of course, Bamberg, Kulmbach, Nuremberg, that kind of area of Germany. But this one has the typical aroma. I mean, you've got a big, bready, yeasty character coming out of this one. And that's one thing I really loved when I lived in Germany, was the nice bread. Some of the German bakeries are arguably the best in the world. Some really, really good bread from there. But you can smell that nice, doughy, bready, yeasty character on this one. There's maybe a little bit of caramel sweetness in there as well, just a little bit of a kind of biscuity, grainy character sort of thing in this one. Really nice. But when you sugar it up a little bit more, you start to get some of these typical German noble hops coming out. It's probably Hallertau and Tettnanger that they've used in these. More likely Hallertau, I think, because that's closer to Reising, which incidentally is right next to Munich Airport. So if you've got a layover in Munich Airport, take a trip to either Weltenberg, which is another very famous brewery, or Weihenstephan at Reising. But yeah, this is a really, really nice smelling beer. The nice kind of floral aromaticity from these noble hops. A little bit of lighter grassy character as well, and you've also got that kind of dark, slightly citricy character for me coming out as well. But you can smell that this one is going to be quite good. That darker and that more kind of prominent hop character that comes out of this tells you that it's going to be a good Kellerbier. So let's give this guy a try and see how we get on. So this one is the 1506 1516 Kellerbier from Bayerische Staatsbrauerei, Weihenstephan. We'll give a toast to 500 years of the Reinheitsgebot. It's given us some pretty damn awesome beer. Prost. Oh yeah, that is good. With these Kellerbiers, you can there's the Keller and the Zwickel as well as the other one. These are kind of similar styles. The last Kellerbier I reviewed, which was from Gensteller, which was Schlammersdorf, if I remember rightly, near Bamberg. It was very hoppy. This one is a little bit different. This one leans more towards the bready side of things. And I have to admit, I do like German beers that do both of that. The hoppy German ones can be awesome, and the more malty, bready ones can be really awesome too. And for me, this one leans to more towards the bready side of things. Yeah, there's a good bit of hoppy character in the beer as well. You can feel that around the edge of the tongue, but for me, it comes in and then it fades away quite quickly, and it does just come back and linger a little bit in the aftertaste. But for me, this beer definitely leans more towards the malty side of things. Land beer was the other style I was looking for when I was saying there. Kellerbier and land beer. But this is really nice. This is a very, very good beer. So as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate a little bit and see how you get on with this. Normally, you should drink this beer in a sort of tankard style glass. I actually don't have a tankard with me, but this kind of tulip glass is always good. It's pretty much good for any kind of beer. But yeah, the middle of your palate is just blanketed with this kind of doughy, yeasty character. It just goes right across the middle of the palate. It's a nice kind of bready malt base, and you just get the thicker kind of doughy malt flavours on top of that. It's really quite nice. You can feel a little bit of slightly darkish caramel in there on the top, and it's actually got a little bit of grainy kind of dryness to it as well, I would say. You can feel that in the middle of the palate. The beer isn't too complex in flavour, but it does everything right. It really hits the notes that you want from the Kellerbier style. For me, this is really, really nice. Yeah, very, very good beer. Yeah, this is really nice for me actually as well. As it kind of heats up a little bit, as it comes out of the bottle, you start to get more of the hoppy character coming out. The hoppy, the kind of typical noble hop flavours just build a little bit. Around the front corners of the palate, you can feel that it's quite floral and aromatic, and that's what you'd expect from the German noble hops. At the back corner of the palate, there's maybe just a little bit of a kind of sweetish earthiness in there, but that's very, very smooth and very kind of subtle, I would say. But there's a good bit of floral aromaticity on the front sides of the tongue. As you go round the front curve, you start to get a little bit more of the smoother, grassier aspects of these German noble hops. And just behind the front curve too, you'll get that little oily bubble where the kind of citricy, the sort of citrusy flavours come out, this little citrusy esters that you get as part of these German noble hops. You know, it has everything you would want. This one for me, in terms of a Kellerbier, it leans a little bit more towards the malty side of things, and that's quite nice. And it's good that you can get a variety in these beers. Some of them are a bit more hoppy, some of them are a bit more malty, and the Keller, the Zwickel and the Land beer are supposed to all be different styles in that regard, but they're all related, and it's different levels of malt, different levels of hops and things like that. But for me, this one suits the Keller beer quite nicely. I always remember the Keller beer being a little bit more bready and things like that, and it's really nice. I mean, Weihenstephan, you wouldn't expect anything less from them. They've produced a pretty damn good Keller beer, and it's to celebrate a very kind of historic occasion in terms of German beer. So yeah, make sure you try this one if you get the chance. It is a limited edition, so do pick it up and have a go of it yourself. Really quite good beer if you enjoy your traditional German styles, pardon me, and particularly Franconian beer. This is one that you'll want to try. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I think it's fair to say this beer is mid-bodied. Yeah, mid-bodied beer, nice little bit of smooth carbonation in this one. Does have a little bit of a prickle to it, but not too much. The malt base is very smooth. There is a good little bit of hoppy dryness too, and just a little teeny bit of fruity character from the hops too. But overall, you know, it's exactly what you would expect from a Keller beer. And it's another pretty damn awesome beer from Weihenstephan. You wouldn't expect anything less. So yeah, as always, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. If you have tried this beer for yourself, please let me know your own thoughts on it in the comments section below. Always interested to hear from you guys. Do let me know what your favourite Weihenstephan beers are as well, of course. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my social media. Do let me know your favourite Weihenstephan beers, and do also, those of you watching in Germany, do let me know some other German beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me have a look at. This one has been the Weihenstephaner 1516, the 1516 beer to celebrate 500 years of the Reinheitsgebot. Prost, and I will catch you guys again soon. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Slange just now.